Welcome back in Part 3, AI and the Economy, the Great Restructuring. This is where it gets personal, because AI is not just changing the world anymore, it's coming for your job. For most of industrial history, automation was a story about muscle. Machines replaced the factory workers' hands. They replaced the miner's back. They replaced the assembly line workers' repetitive motion. And yes, each wave of automation displaced workers, caused real economic pain, and demanded painful social adjustment. But the jobs that were created on the other side of each industrial revolution, the engineers, the managers, the service workers, the creators, always outnumbered the jobs that were lost. The argument has always been, automation frees humans from drudgery and creates space for higher value work. The open question of our era is whether that argument still holds when the automation targets not just our hands, but our minds. Because today's AI doesn't just run machines on a factory floor.
Today's AI writes marketing copy. It generates legal summaries. It produces financial analyses. It writes software code. It designs graphics. It composes music. It answers customer service calls. It conducts first-round job interviews. It reviews X-rays. It translates documents. It teaches students. It files tax returns. A 2023 study by Goldman Sachs estimated that generative AI could automate tasks accounting for the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs globally. The World Economic Forum projects that by 2025, a date that is already behind us, AI and automation would displace 85 million jobs while creating 97 million new ones. Net positive, the numbers say. But the catch, the part that gets lost in the headline, is that the jobs displaced and the jobs created are not the same jobs, in the same places, held by the same people. A 50-year-old data entry clerk in Detroit does not automatically become a machine learning engineer in San Francisco.
The transition is not a spreadsheet calculation. It is a human life, a family, a community, a sense of identity built around a kind of work that may no longer exist. This is the tension at the heart of the AI economic revolution. It is not a question of whether AI creates value. It clearly does, and at a scale that is genuinely staggering. McKinsey estimates that AI could add between $13 and $22 trillion to the global economy annually by 2030. New industries are being born. New forms of creativity are being unlocked. New efficiencies are being found in every supply chain, logistics network, and customer interaction on Earth. But economic value and human well-being are not the same thing. A rising GDP does not automatically mean rising dignity, security, or opportunity for the people whose jobs were restructured away. So what is the right response?
The answer, almost certainly, is not to stop AI. That ship has sailed, and attempting to hold back a technology this transformative is both futile and arguably counterproductive, because the nations that pause will simply fall behind the nations that don't. The answer is to be intentional, to invest massively and urgently in education systems that teach adaptability, not just specific skills, to build social safety nets that can catch workers in transition, to craft policy that ensures the economic gains from AI are distributed broadly, rather than concentrating entirely at the top of the wealth pyramid. Because here is the economic truth that every policymaker, every CEO, and every voter needs to internalize. AI is not going to wait for us to get our institutions ready. It is already here. It is already reshaping labor markets, already restructuring entire industries, already deciding, in ways invisible to most people, who gets a loan, who gets a job interview, who gets shown which news story, and which neighborhood gets which level of policing. Which brings us to one of the most important and least comfortable dimensions of the AI revolution. Not what AI can do, but how AI makes decisions, and whether those decisions can be trusted. Because beneath the surface of every algorithm that shapes your world, there is a set of assumptions, a body of training data, and a set of values, often unexamined, often unrepresentative, and sometimes deeply, structurally unfair. And this is where things become even more complex. Because the real question is not just what AI can do, but how it decides. Who gets selected? Who gets rejected? Who gets left behind? And whether those decisions are fair at all.
Because behind every AI system, there is data, there are assumptions, and there are biases. And sometimes, those biases are invisible. In Part 4, we step into one of the most uncomfortable truths of the AI revolution: bias, ethics, and the decisions machines make about our lives. To be continued.